One of the aspects of the primal movement practice that I find incredibly valuable is that I can both strengthen and lengthen the entire body through dynamic movement. That is what we're diving into in this Primal Stretch and Flex session. I'll be guiding you through a series of primal movements that are gonna leave you feeling strong, connected, open, and capable to tackle anything that life throws your way. So get ready, we're hopping into our warm-up right now. Starting out, we're gonna open up those feet a little bit wider than shoulder width, sink into those hips, sink into those knees. Hands are gonna be right at that belly button. Inhale, drive through the feet, reach the hands above the head. Exhale, crushing a little ball right here in front of the belly button. We want to feel this nice connection to that center. Think that belly button. So inhale, reaching up through the hands, the arms, through that belly button, and then driving through those feet, through that belly button. With each exhale, feel that compression in the core, that pull towards the center. And with each inhale, feel that opening, that reach away from the center of the body through all four limbs. Keep driving through those feet, maybe a little spread through the floor. We're gonna keep this going for a few more reps. Awesome. Feel free to just stand up, bounce around for a little bit, and we're gonna hop into our next move, the Ginga. So I'm gonna set up in pretty much that same stance, feet pointing forward, sinking down a little bit lower. I'm gonna step this left leg back, forming a triangle point, right? So bisecting those 2 feet and then stepping right back up. I'm gonna stay in my legs and I'm just going to step back, get this nice opening through the hip and continue to load through that front leg. You can see I'm doing some stuff with the arms. That opposite arm of the front leg comes basically right to guard the face, and then the other arm reaches back. Continuing to feel into those legs and incorporate movement through all 4 limbs. Eyes forward, sinking low. Continuing to open up those hips, open up those legs, probably getting a little burn going. That's good, we want that body heat. Alrighty, let's go ahead and rest. Keep that body moving, bouncing around. We're gonna take this into the monkey rock next. So I'll show you from the side. I can sink down into a squat like this. I can also go a little bit lower, whatever is accessible to you, that's what you're gonna go with. You're gonna rock through those hands forward, do your best to touch those knees to the ground, and then press back into that squat. If you're a little bit higher up, that's fine, just load the hips a little bit more. Rock forward, if you touch the knees, great, and then just reaching back with the hips, coming into what's available in that squat pattern. Continue to drive through the feet. It's easy to kind of focus on those hands because you're rocking through them and putting weight through them, but keep driving pressure through that ball of the foot as you rock through those toes, and we'll continue to open up the legs, the feet, the ankles in the process. So again, I'm just rocking forward, waking up the upper body, waking up the lower body. All right, cool. Standing up, shaking it out, bouncing around, taking some nice deep breaths. We're gonna run through those 3 exercises one more time. I'm already getting a nice little glisten going on. So let's get that body heat going. You can widen out the stance if you want a little bit more. Big key, everything's coming through that center. So inhale, exhale. I'm gonna start a little bit slower, give you some space to feel into that drive through the feet, the reach through the arms, and then pull back to the center. Expand on the inhale, compress on the exhale. Let's keep it going. Picking up the tempo. I want to really make sure I'm just getting into my hips, into my knees, a little bit more upright through the posture. A little bit quicker. Again, working at your tempo, but I want you to continue to feel into a little bit more body heat as we warm up. A few more reps. Gonna go ahead and rest there. We got that Ginga coming up next. Again, we wanna stay low. We wanna continue to work on pressure through the feet, waking up those legs, putting load through all those joints. All right, we're gonna take that step back. You can see my arm coming up, protecting my face. Get a nice little stretch through that line, down that back leg through the hip, driving through that front foot, and then extending through that back heel to get a little bit more stretch. If you want to start to widen out that Ginga a little bit, get into the hips, do your thing. Eyes forward. Whew. Cooking on this one. Staying in it, finding those legs, staying grounded through the feet, loaded through the hips, engaged through that heart, that torso, incorporating those arms. All right, shaking it out, bouncing around, whatever feels good. So up to you. You can stick with your monkey rock at whatever level makes sense. I'm gonna add one more thing. So I'm gonna rock out to the side, eyes remain forward, touch my knees down, rock out to the other side, eyes remain forward, coming back through center, and then rocking forward right through here. So getting a nice flow, opening up some direction, starting to load your body in different angles. One of the things I love, as I mentioned at the beginning about primal movement, my ability to start to load through the ground, load my body in dynamic ways, and do that in different ranges. Stuff that may not be obvious that shows up in life. But we'll go into it in this video, maybe a little bit in some other videos, but if I wanna look underneath the car, it's right there. You don't have to do that, all right? Just showing off a little bit. All right, cool. Stand it up, shake those legs out, take some nice deep breaths, and we'll hop into our work set in just a few moments. We've got 3 moves in this work set: the monkey stretch, the starfish, and the side kick through stretch. We'll be going through this 3 times. So this first round, I want you to focus on dialing in the movement, making sure you can connect with it, understanding what you're doing. And then over the course of these 3 rounds, you can build on that tempo and intensity. All right, get ready. We're about to hop into that monkey stretch in just about 5 seconds. First things first, we want to find the monkey squat that makes sense for how we're feeling today. So you can see as I squat down into this higher monkey, I can still put my hand down and use that to initiate the stretch. I can also sink down into the monkey squat with my heels off the ground, and without rounding my back a ton, I'm gonna drop the heels to the ground. So just know you have options available, and these may change as things start to open up throughout the session. To keep things simple and accessible, I'll be starting from this high monkey squat. So I'm gonna take my right hand, place that right hand down to my side with the fingertips pointing back. Reach the left hand over, that's gonna initiate a pivot and spiral through the body. I'm gonna drive through my hands, drive through my feet, hips high, looking back at the camera, and then with the support of this right hand, I'm gonna pivot back through my squat and then place that hand down on the other side, going through that same process, reaching the right hand over, high through the hips, driving through the feet, and then passing through center. From the side, place the hand down, fingertips pointing back, high through the hips, plant the other hand, really feel that nice stretch through the body, breathing into it, passing through center. Other side, high through the hips, looking through the window. And lastly, I'll turn around so you can see it here. Right hand comes down, high through the hips. That's the monkey stretch. If you need a few more reps, pause the video and give it a go. Next, the starfish. So this one is very similar to that chi breathing we did in the beginning. I want you to feel everything pulling into that belly button, but also simultaneously reaching away from that belly button. We're gonna start by flexing the hips, driving the thighs into the torso. I'm gonna flex through the neck here, just a little bit. Use that breath to feel the rib cage come into the core. And then I'm gonna extend my arms out like I'm holding two big spears here. Then I'm going to gradually start to extend my legs out. So this is fine, really focusing on the breath here. And this is gonna be a lot of load because we don't want that lower back to arch. So breathe in here, feeling that reach through the fingertips, reach through the legs. And as you start to feel a little bit more confident with this, as long as that lower back stays connected to the ground, you can start to extend those legs out. So I'm reaching through the crown of my head. Got a little heaviness through my tail, that other limb. And then I've got my arms out to the sides, pulling back through the heart, and then reaching through those legs, driving through the ball of the foot, feeling that connection to the belly button. You can do whatever you want with the limbs, all right? So you can move them around, make this a little bit more dynamic. Just maintain that sense of center. Breathing into it. If that gets too much, just bring those thighs in, pulling them into the belly button. Now let's go ahead and rest on that. Woo! Yeah, so sneaky, not really. You heard it in my breath. That one had me shaking the whole time. All right, last one. We're gonna go the side kick through stretch. So we can do this from a grounded cat position with the knees on the ground and just open and then kick through. We can also do this through elevated. So I kick through, but I'm gonna keep that heel on the ground and sit down, right? I wanna find this grounded position through the pelvis and through my leg. Now from here, I'm going to start to externally rotate this leg, place this hand here, bring that ear to the ground, do a little push-up. Now I'm getting this nice stretch through the outer line of my leg. I'm gonna go ahead and bring that back through, open, kick through, find this pressure through this hand. I'm gonna start to externally rotate that leg, come to the ground, and then press back up. Let's do one more rep each side to finish out this first round. So I'm going to kick through, sit down, okay? Hand comes to the ground, ears coming to the ground, externally rotate that straight leg. You can see I'm on the ball of the foot on that back leg, coming back through, in the cat, kick through, sit down, external rotation through that leg, ear to the ground, and pressing back up. So we've got the form down. Hopefully you're feeling more and more confident with these movements. Now we're gonna pick up the tempo, go through this 2 more times in a circuit. Stand it up, bounce around. We got about 15 more seconds before we hop into that monkey stretch. Take your time, no need to rush through this. No need to ramp up that intensity. Just let it build as the connection builds over time. All right, sinking on down into that squat. Let's get set up, working in 3, 2, 1. Plant the hand, fingertips pointed back, high through the hips. Plant the other hand, looking through the window. Spiraling back through that squat. Plant the other hand, fingertips pointing back, high through the hips, looking through the window, spiraling back through squat. Let's go. Inhale on the stretch. Exhale as you pass through the center. Focus on grounding through all 4 contact points. We got those feet, we got those hands. Doing some different things, hitting some different angles. Focus on that connection through the entire body. Cool. So next up, we're taking it into that starfish. Meet yourself where you're at, okay? You can always dance with those legs extending out, but always come back to a spot where you feel like you can feel connected. Let's get to work. Opening up through those hands, those arms. Feel that pull back into the center as you reach through the fingertips. Building up that support through the midline, support through that belly button. Reaching through the crown of the head. You're feeling your neck strengthen here, getting nice and long. Know that you can play around with these different angles. Just hold into the torso. Breathe in, building that connection. Just a few more seconds of work. Oh, rest. Oh, man. So this first round through on the side kick through stretch, I'm going to stay grounded through the knees. You can elevate if you want to. Let's get to work. I'm going to open up, kick through, find that hand, find the other hand, externally rotating through the straight leg, ear to the ground, pressing up, bringing that leg through, open it up, kick through, externally rotating through that straight leg. And if you want to get a little bit more pulse through one side, try going through a couple reps on that push-up each time. That's going to help you just kind of grease the groove on that lateral line of the body. So building a little upper body strength. Finishing up on this side. And rest. Whew. All right. We got one more round to go on this. Same thing, standing it up, shaking those legs out, taking some nice deep breaths, allowing blood flow to continue, making its way through every inch of your body. Sweet, let's get down into that monkey squat. Last time through, planting that hand high through the hips. This is where you start to be able to dump a little bit more intensity into what you're doing. So let's switch that breathing pattern up. Let's go exhale on the stretch. Inhale as you pass through center, creating force through the ground on that exhale. Continue to be engaged through the eyes, looking through that window. And rest. All right. Sweet. Time for that starfish. Oh man, this last round. Make those necessary adjustments. The focus is staying engaged through that torso. Let's flex through, lift through the crown of the head, open through the heart, and extend those legs out. Whew, that was aggressive right off the bat. Breathing into it, letting that connection build. Playing with extending those legs out, lowering those legs, just making sure that we're staying engaged long through that lower back, lengthen through the crown of the head, Everything is pulling towards the center on the exhale. Expanding, opening on that inhale. And rest. All right, making your way up. We've got that side kick through stretch. I'm gonna elevate those knees off the ground and I'm gonna get right to work. Kicking that leg through, heel on the ground, hip on the ground, externally rotating. If you wanna grease the groove a little bit, hit a couple of those push-ups. Focus on driving that external rotation through the hip. Kick, heel, hip, hand, ear to the ground. Whew. All right, there we go. 3 rounds down on that. Nice work. Hopefully you're feeling a lot more limber and connected with your body. Let's take it into the cool down right now. So we just felt into a lot of tension through the body. And while we want to build that tension, build that connection, we also want to practice releasing it. So here's what we're going to do. Instead of that active starfish here, we're going to go really relaxed, opening up through the heart, opening up through the hips, opening up through that head and neck. Maybe a little pressure through the back of your skull here. Now, all I'm gonna do is I'm going to reach above my head, like so. I'm gonna roll over to the side, and I'm gonna drive knees into elbows, elbows into knees, then open up as far as I can into this X or starfish position, and then switch over to that other side. So inhale as you reach and open through those 4 limbs. Exhale as you come together. And this we want to make really nice and relaxed as much as we're getting some good connection here. And we're interacting with the ground, allowing the ground to support us, which means I don't have to do as much. I can start to relax into my body, trust the ground, and work through all the contact points. The ground, here's the cool thing about the ground, guys. It's a gigantic myofascial release tool. So if you're foam rolling a bunch, I think foam rolling has its place, right? But we can get a lot of other ways of sensing, feeling, getting in touch with the body that involves more movement. Let's get 1 more of these each side. Opening on the inhale. Now, last thing we're gonna do, open up into that starfish and breathe. Get nice and heavy into the ground, allowing the ground to support you. Notice any sort of tension that you may be clinging on to. That just really doesn't make a ton of sense while relaxing on the ground. And if you sense that stuff, when you sense that stuff, breathe into it, breathe out, and let it go. One more nice, big, expansive inhale. And exhale. And hey, you can chill here as long as you want. I know I certainly want to, But I gotta wrap up this video. Now, I'm feeling good after this session, but I am curious how you're feeling. So let me know how this went for you in the comments below right now. If you enjoyed it, like it, share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. I will see you next time. Stay smooth.